Porsche makes tons of cars, whether it be an SUV, sedan, coupe, whatever you want to think of it. They have the Macan, the Cayenne, the 911, and they have the Panamera, except this one I don't see on the road as much as the others, which is surprising because this is a nice car and it's meant to compete with things such as the Mercedes-Benz GT 4-door. Today, I'm going to be reviewing this one and telling you why it's better than that car. I'm Aiden, and you're watching God Next. All right, now the heart of the Panamera lies in the engine, and of course, this is a V6 model, which means it only gets a 2.9-liter twin-turbocharged V6, and it doesn't make tons of power, sadly. 325 horsepower and 331 pound-feet of torque. And if you get the Sport Chrono package, it'll do 0 to 60 in about 5.1 seconds. But this one is under $100,000 if you were to go for, let's say, a turbo model. You'd be getting around 620 horsepower, which definitely competes with a car like the GT63S. And overall, you're still getting a pretty good 0 to 60 out of a car that only makes 325 horsepower and is 4,200 pounds. And if you're getting the V6, it's either because you can't afford the turbo or because you want the better gas mileage. But either way, still not a bad powertrain. All right, now for the exterior of the Panamera, I'll be honest, on the computer screens and in pictures, this car looks a little overweight and it is definitely heavy. But you know what they say, the camera adds 20 pounds, and that is true with this car because in person, this thing actually looks great. It looks great with this cherry metallic paint, these Porsche Matrix LED headlights. You have the different fog lights in the grille with all these different air pass-throughs down at the bottom. Porsche crest, of course. I think it's a really good looking car, especially with this current spec, and it looks super unique. Not saying the GT63 doesn't, but there are a lot less of these than there are GT63s. All right, now when it comes to the Panamera, you get these 21-inch rims wrapped in 315s in the back and 275s up front, which is a bit overkill considering this car only makes 331 pound-feet of torque, which is not going to send these tires spinning even in a rear-wheel drive configuration. More air pass-throughs for aerodynamics and everything like that, and body-colored mirror caps with a lot of black accent trim around the side of the car. Now, another cool thing on the side of the Panamera is going to be these doors. Many luxury cars have this feature, but I find it really cool on the Panamera. This door can actually stay put wherever you place it, and Porsche uses certain door hinges to make that happen, but no matter where you place the door, it will stay still. And on top of that, just in case you don't want to slam the doors of your Porsche Panamera, this does have soft closed doors, so if I kind of like lightly push it in, it pulls it shut for me. Brakes on a car like this are also very important, especially because it is big and it's a Porsche, so of course it's going to go fast. These are 350mm rotors with 6-piston calipers, and you have 330mm rotors with 4-piston calipers in the back. And on the back of the Panamera, my favorite part about this car is going to be the light bar. You get this beautiful light bar in the back that lights up at night, and it looks so grand and gorgeous. You also have a deployable spoiler back here, just like you have on the Audi A7, which is nice that Porsche brought that down from another Volkswagen brand. Of course, this is built on the A7 platform. Everybody knows that. Now, when it comes to other things back here, the exhaust and the rear valence look a little overly aggressive for having a 2.9-liter V6. But yes, it does sound good. This is what it sounds like. Now, as for rear storage space back here, if I go ahead and pop the hatchback open, you have 17.6 cubic feet of cargo space back here, 12-volt sockets and some tie-down points, and you can fold down that second row to pass larger items into there. On the inside of the Panamera, of course, this is a nice place to be, just like every Porsche is. Beautiful materials everywhere. I love these steering wheel designs that Porsche's been doing in the recent years. You have beautiful materials on the dash, nice and soft touch. Basically everything you're going to be touching in this car is nice. You do have some cheaper plastics in some areas. This little like cover right here that blocks the ashtray that was spec'd with this vehicle kind of feels a little cheaper, but it's not that big of a deal. When it comes to the gauge cluster and the infotainment system in this car, you have two massive screens in the gauge cluster with, of course, your Porsche tachometer slapped dead in the middle. That is the same on every single Porsche model in their range of vehicles. You can configure it to show the navigation, the sport information, everything like that, trip information. It's really good looking, really high quality, and super customizable. As for Porsche's infotainment system, it's gotten so much better over the last couple of years. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it's super, super responsive. Now, when it comes to changing the air conditioning in this car, it's like the Taycan actually. When you press the air conditioning button in the infotainment system, it'll actually bring up a screen where you can adjust the positioning of the air vents in the car. You can actually watch them turn and everything like that, which is the exact same thing you get in the Taycan. Pretty cool, pretty annoying if you don't know how to use it though. That would be the only thing I have to say. Other than that, you have plenty of controls in the center control stack, heated and cooled seats, an adjustable suspension button, sport mode, individual, things like that, and I love what they did with this shifter here. It looks really, really cool. Now, as for connectivity in this interior, in here you get a 12-volt socket and a USB Type-C with a Qi wireless charger, which is nice of Porsche to include that with this car. The glove box is also a really nice space as well. And then these seats are nice and beautiful. You have plenty of adjustment and even under thigh support if you want that too. Piano black trim all over the interior of the car. It adds to that luxurious feeling. And this car has a crazy amount of ambient lighting stretching from in the speaker grills all the way up to the roof of the car, which is nice. One of the best things in a Porsche is actually going to be how these cars pay tribute to Le Mans racing, and that is done in this car by putting the start switch on the left side of the steering wheel. And instead of it being a push to start, it's actually this little knob that you turn like if you were turning a normal key. I think it's cool that Porsche puts stuff like that in their cars. It just makes every one of their cars feel that much more unique. In the back seats of the Panamera, they are really nice, other than that someone turned on the heated seats back here because they thought it'd be a really funny joke. Anyways, with it being 97 degrees out here, there are plenty of AC vents back here, and it's dual zone climate control. But in the winter, if you do carry, you do have heated seats back here. And back here, the passengers can even control their own sunroof, which is a pretty nifty little feature if you like being chauffeured around. You also have cup holders right here with pass-throughs just in case you want to store any long objects, and this can also be used as a nice little armrest, though if you put too much weight on it, it does start to buckle down, and that feels a little weird. Seats back here are nice and comfortable, and the seats in front of you are leather back. They're not cheap and plasticky feeling, and there's plenty of back seat pocket space. And if you really want to bother your front passengers, there is a hole that leads directly to the neckline of whoever's ever sitting in front of you. So if you really want to piss someone off, all you have to do is shove your fingers through here while they're driving to make them really, really angry at you. But yes, surprisingly, for $94,000 and nearly a base Panamera, the back seats of this car are astoundingly great. And that is the Porsche Panamera. I think it's a great hatchback luxury sedan, and it really brings out how these cars can be practical even if they're not SUVs. And if you're into a more sleek and stylish look, I believe the Panamera is just right for you. I definitely take it over a GT63 if this was a Turbo S model. So if you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more from us, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.